I don't know what it is, but Rockstar's opinion of classic rock and modern rock don't match what I assume is classic rock and modern rock.
What do you consider classic rock? I mean, that technically kind of was soft rock.
But I think more, the Spiderbait and ZZ Top.
Hmm.
I mean, to be fair, this old class, this is classic rock, so they've got this one right. But
what I'm finding painful to discover is now a lot of the bands that I liked in high school are starting to show up on the classic rock station in my city.
Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it?
Mm.
It's savage, mate. I saw an advert the other day, and it was showing me that the fucking original PlayStation was 21 years old. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so old. I'm so fucking old.
The 30th anniversary of Castlevania.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work out how old the NES is now.
32?
Yeah.
Something like that, 32, 30, 31, 32. Depends where you live. I think it came out 85 in Canada. So it would just be 31.
I think we got it a little bit after you guys, I think. It's like everything, man. I swear to God, you lot get everything earlier across the pond. I don't know why. Films come out before ours, TV series come out over there before they come out over here. It's bullshit.
It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand it either. I think the only thing you guys get first is downloadable games, because your clock ticks over to midnight or whatever.
Yeah,
for
we get
4 hours.
it's midnight for us before it is for you. Yeah, you gotta wait an extra 5-6 hours depending on whereabouts you are and whether it's daylight savings.
Yeah. If it's coming in for me like on a school night basically, or a work night, like it's the next day when I get off work, I gotta wait all day for whatever it is.
Yeah.
It comes in, I think it's like between 3 and 4 a.m. here, so.
Oh, that's savage.
Yeah, and then you gotta wait for it to download.
That's one of the things I like about Rockstar is the releases are normally, midday in the UK, which is a decent time of day wherever you are in the world.
Yeah.
Even if you're New Zealand, it's 12 hours in front, so they have had it midday the day before.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a ridiculous time in the morning anywhere, really.
Fuck, I had a hide-and-seek related dream last night. I don't remember much about it, but it was like we were actually in a city. And I don't know, and running around looking for each other, trying to find each other, and being chased by the fucking cops and shit. I don't think there was any kind of overarching plot. It was just, mishmash of a lot of random shit I've been doing. And probably the squirreling about virtual realities and matrices and all that other shit, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I tell you what, I miss playing hide-and-seek as a kid. I used to fucking love hide-and-seek as a kid, man. Like, my kids don't go out and play hide-and-seek. I don't think they'd know how to. We've played it with them in the house when they were littler.
Yeah.
But they don't go out with their mates and play that kind of stuff. Everything they do is so focused on
a device
social
or something.
media and a device. Yeah, there's loads of, I can't hold it against them because they are socializing, but they're socializing in their format.
Yeah.
And it's just so weird to see it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking my kids have got no friends, and actually they're talking to 12 different people at the same time, and I've got no idea.
Yeah. I've kind of had to explain that stuff to my mom because she was 72, so even just about myself, she'd be like, well, you're playing so many games. She's like, why don't you read a book or watch a movie? I'm like, well, because half the stuff I'm playing is just as good. It's just that I'm having to be skillful enough to advance a story.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, really? And then she actually sat down one time with me and watched, I think, me play through like the entirety of not the newest, but the second newest Tomb Raider game over the course of a weekend.
All right.
She was like, "Oh, that was really cool, like watching a movie." She's like, "But it seems like it takes really long to do everything." I was like, "Well, yeah, because you don't want it to be done in 2 hours." I said, "In a movie, they cut out all of the parts where you're walking through the forest to get to the place, you know, and all that other stuff."
Is to be fair, they can only advance it further. I mean, with the whole VR stuff, and it won't be long before you're, properly in the game.
Oh yeah,
literally walking through the forest. I can't wait for that.
I mean,
I'm gonna be.
they've got technology now where you can control a mouse cursor with this little thing that's on your head. It reads your brainwaves. Like it takes you a little bit to learn, like how to think,
Yeah.
so that it'll pick it up. But you can just do that with your brain, and
It's just mental.
that's the
Absolutely
Pong
mental.
of the Matrix, basically, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But I mean, what's going to weird me out is you realise that our generation, when it comes to the time when we get sent away by our kids to the home because they can't be bothered to wipe our arse anymore, we're going to be like late 70s, early 80s, playing, happy hardcore songs and thrash metal whilst PlayStation's virtual reality, and old people say with the nurse going, "Look, come on, Mr. Collins, you need to come off of that now. It's time for your bath.
It's time for bed. What the fuck do I have to get up for? Get away from me."
Yeah, because you'll revert straight back to your teenage years.
Yeah.
It's like, now I've got no reason to get up. I'm staying in bed till 2. I'm going to play on the Xbox till fucking 4 o'clock in the morning. It just weirds me out because I've worked at hospices and stuff, and you go in there, and at the minute, I mean, to be fair, they're not that far off it now, but when I was at the hospice like 10 years ago, you'd go in and it'd be playing White Cliffs of Dover, and they'd be reminiscing about the Second World War. It was that kind of old people. Now it's at the stage where, I mean, the last time I went to the hospice, because I still pop in and visit, I was a chef there for a long time, I got to know the staff and some of the guys there, so... but I go down there now, and some of the guys are a bit younger, but they're like my mum's age. They're in their 60s, early 70s, so they were tripping on pills in the 60s, and they're talking about the Vietnam War and how it's make love not war, all that kind of stuff, and you can see the change already. The idea of when we're getting there, you roll up to the old people's home to visit your nan, and all you can hear is Snoop Dogg playing out of a bedroom window at ridiculous volumes. It's just the idea of it astounds me.
I'd like to think that some of our music, I don't know why it would be, but that some of our music would still be listenable.
Yeah, I imagine
we still
a lot
listen
of
to
it
stuff that was popular in the
relevant.
60s and 70s, right? Like, but we might not go back as far as the 50s. I happen to like 30s big band jazz for some reason. I have no fucking idea why, but
I'm not.
Rat
I'm
Pack,
not gonna lie. I love. Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
love
yeah,
a bit
Rat
of
Pack, fuck yeah.
Sinatra, and that's about as far back as I go, really. But yeah, I mean, I'll still listen to, like, my mum raised me on the 60s and the 70s, and so I still listen to quite a lot of that. And I'm hoping, because my kids have all grown up listening to the stuff that I listened to when I was a kid, so
yeah,
they'll listen to the Beatles as easily as they'll listen to Justin Bieber. They're quite happy switching between the two. I think that's important, though.
It is. I just feel somehow dirty because they were mentioned in the same sentence.
Yeah, and
but I know
we've
what
got
you
you
mean.
to thank for him. So cheers for that, Canada. Nice.
Sorry. Look, we already apologized for Bryan Adams. Now we have to apologize for Justin Bieber and Rob Ford. But three out of 250 million ain't bad, I guess. Not even that many. 35 million. I'm thinking of the States.
Yeah, we've got a lot more to apologize for, I think, in the long run.
There was a few
not as many
arseholes
as
in our
the
history.
States have got.
From what I hear, John Cabot wasn't a very nice guy. But then again, he was British, so...
Point made, you see.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't trying to make a point. I just happened to land on a British guy. I was like, oh, wait a minute, he's not Canadian. Or at least technically he isn't. He was one of the founding fathers. He was big on scalping. Not very popular these days.
No.
No, it's just, yeah. So it's kind of weird because they've got statues of him all over the place, and well, at least in one place where I live, because he discovered a
I
bunch
like
of
the
hell
idea
Canada,
that,
right? But he was also this sort of
I like the idea of when everyone's thinks, oh yes, this is a great person until they fuck up. And then all of a sudden you realise they're from somewhere else. It's like when Mel Gibson went all racist. Suddenly he's not American, he's actually an Australian. We remember because he did Mad Max.
Yeah. People always say, hey, do you like the Mad Max movies? I'm like, well, which ones? He's like, well, the first one. I'm like, well, did Mel Gibson have an accent? They're like, no. I'm like, that's not the first one. I was like, when he did the first one, he was still an Australian.
Yeah, the first one is still an Aussie. Oh,
but
dear.
well, you think about it. But I saw a thing on I think it was Facebook. It said like the media isn't always right, and it was a picture of Time magazine for like 1932, and Hitler was Man of the Year for turning his country around. And then like 4 years later, it turns out he's like this crazy asshole who wants to take over the world, right? Everybody's just like, oops, he seemed like a nice guy. Like,
I mean, I have to be so careful with the media now anyway. You've got to be, because they're such a cash company, the media, and it's very much, we're going to highlight who do we want to, promote this week? Who do we want to put down that week? I just got to be so careful with it. And the images that are portrayed, I saw a really good image where it was a woman and a riot police officer sort of staring each other down. You've got this little woman, great big riot police officer, and she's staring at him, and they're having a proper staring competition in this picture. And then you see the images from just prior to that, and she's stuffing her middle finger up against his his little visor, and she's shoving him, and it's like, come on. But the image that was in the paper was the one that they wanted to portray. Look how big and bad the police officers are versus, these untrained civilians just there trying to fight the good fight. It's like, hang on a minute, that's not quite right.
Yeah, really. I saw a good one that demonstrated just kind of the power of photographs, and it was like one of them is like a thin slice. And you saw like a gun pointed at a cowering man's, or like an angry man's face or something.
Yeah.
So it looked like he was aggressive and somebody was trying to stop him, right? And then it pulls out a little bit more, and he's actually on the ground cowering with a rifle pointed at his head. Which makes it altogether different. And then it pulls out even further, and it's a bunch of soldiers offering this man who's in pain a drink of water, and another soldier has his rifle slung on his back, and that's the edge of the rifle that you saw pointed at this man. It's not pointed at him, it just happens to be hanging on this guy's back.
Ah.
And it was like, be careful of, even the images you think are something might be something else, and it was like, that's really actually a good fucking example of that, just exactly that.
It's so easy to just portray something the way you want it just by cutting it and editing it just so.
Yeah.
It kind of aggravates me because you never know when you're getting the whole truth in anything. It's that whole listen to the whole thing before you make your decision sort of thing. I read somewhere, if I came up to you and asked you to jump out of a plane with no parachute for $100,000, what would your answer be? And they just immediately go, no. I'm like, what if I told you the plane was on the floor? There you go, you've missed your chance. You should have listened to the whole thing.
Yeah, really.
It's like, good point.
So I read another one somewhere. I think it was like a Buddhist thing or something, and it was about a blind man, but for like 4 blind men touch an elephant or something like that. And one guy who's just touching the trunk says, "Oh, it's a snake because it's all slithery and I can feel it moving and it's sinuous." And the guy who's touching the tail goes, or the guy's touching the tail says, "No, it's it's a whip or something like that. And the guy touching the leg, like, no, it's a tree. And the guy touching the side's like, no, it's a wall. And then the one guy who can see says, you know, you idiots, it's an elephant.
But I mean, there's the moral's there, isn't it? You know, you've got to take in the whole picture before you make any decisions, and it's so easily lost,
Yeah.
especially in something like social media. You know, you have a quick look at a status on Facebook, you're like, oh, that's fucking shit, and then you delve into it and you see, you know, deleted previous comments that have led up to certain comments, and oh, hang on, suddenly it's a completely different story.
Fuck, I'm having a hard time doubling out on this game of fucking darts. Can I quit? How do we get out of this? Okay, yes, I want to quit.
Like, is it just a circle to quit, is it? Or a cross?
No, I just hit cross again.
Double blast. I'll have one game.
Oh, there we go, okay.
See how we do.
Darts is already in progress, yeah, but I want to join.
Ah. Ah. I'll take that. And that. And